Hello, third grade Virtual Academy, and welcome to another week of art. This week begins February, which in America is Black History Month. So that means that for the month of February, each week, we're going to celebrate a different Black artist. So this week's artist inspiration is a man named Jean-Michel Basquiat. And so we're going to take a look at some of his art, and we're going to try to create like Jean-Michel Basquiat created his art. So I am going to show you the picture that I've created, but I want you to keep in mind that for this project, it's more important that we work like Basquiat and that we have fun with the process of creation, and it's not as important that your final picture looks any certain way, but we'll talk more about that once we get started creating. So here is my creation. There's a little bit of collage in here, there's some drawing, and then I put an animal or a character on top and gave him a crown. But we're going to talk about each piece of this, why I added each piece, and how this is working like Jean-Michel Basquiat. So let's take a look. So as I said before, this week's artist inspiration is named Jean-Michel Basquiat. So that's him right there on the right with one of his paintings on the left. So Jean-Michel Basquiat was an artist working in New York City in the 1980s. He started drawing and painting at a very young age. He visited many art museums since he lived in New York City, and there's so much art to see there. Even as a kid, he was always very inspired by music and books. Basquiat became homeless at 17. When he became homeless, he started painting the things that he liked and the things that he saw while out on the streets. So there's a picture of him on the left painting in something that's on a wall, and there on the right is an example of one of his finished paintings. His paintings have never been about looking right or looking like a photo. Basquiat thought it was way more important that the paintings showed how he felt or how he feels about certain things. He loved to listen to music while working, and he would just let the music guide his hand and guide his paintbrush. Some people really don't like his artwork because they think it looks like a kid made it. But Basquiat thinks it's more important that when you look at it, you feel something, and not that when you look at it, you think it's like a photo. What do you think? Do you like his art, or do you think it's pretty terrible? Well, there are a lot of people who don't like his art, but there are a lot of people who really do like his art. This one on the left with the arrow pointing to it sold in the year 2017 at an auction for $110 million for one painting. So clearly he has a lot of fans. There are certain things in Basquiat's work that are very repetitive, which means you see them in most of his artworks. Let's take a look at the one on the right. He has a figure that kind of looks like a human. It also kind of looks like an alien. You can see some of the anatomy inside of the body where you can see the heart, the intestines, the teeth. He liked to include the inner workings of the body too. Another thing that you see in most of Basquiat's work is a crown either on or above the head. Something else you see in a lot of Basquiat's work is that it's either painted or drawn directly on top of other pages or words. So the one on the left just looks like a really dirty canvas, but the one on the right actually looks like he cut out of newspapers or magazines, and he used that as his paper. Basquiat did pass away very early in life at the age of 27. It was very sad for the art world when he passed away so young. He is still very popular even though he passed away a long time ago. The sweatshirt on the right is actually on sale at Target right now, and the shirt on the left is for sale at Forever 21. We just looked at that artwork. Here's the dinosaur that's on the Target sweatshirt too. So what we're going to do is we're going to create art just like Basquiat. Let's take a look at these two and kind of talk about what we're seeing here. On the left, the dinosaur is on a plain background, but on the right is more of what you normally see from Basquiat. It's either a dirty or somehow decorated background with lots of words and symbols. You can do that either by just drawing and decorating all over it yourself, or you can cut things out of magazines. Here's another couple examples, and you can see that both of these look like they were done on already existing pages, so either newspapers or magazines. So we're going to do this together, creating our artwork. I'm going to show you how I created mine, but I want you to keep in mind that the most important part of this project is that you just have fun with the process of creation, and not that it looks exactly like anybody else's artwork. So let's get started creating. Step 1 of this project is that I do want you to collage some paper onto your project paper. So you're going to have a white piece of paper that you're creating this on, but then you need to find some other papers to glue onto there. Some places you can find these papers are magazines, newspapers, old school papers, and really just any paper you find around the house. This could even be like wrapping from candy or even chip bags. Find something that you might have considered trash that has words on it, and you're going to rip that up and add it to your paper. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Here I have a magazine, and so what I'm going to do is just flip through the pages and find any words or phrases that I think could work really well in my collage. So words like memories, family, happy and healthy. I do find some words later about being creative, which I thought was really cool. So I'm just kind of going through and just picking out the words and phrases that I like. You could also pick out pictures if you wanted to. I just wanted to stick with words. Once you have the words all picked out, you're going to then just glue them to your paper. Keep in mind that some of these will be covered up later by your figure or your character that you add. So have fun with it. For step 2 of the project, you're going to choose one of the songs below to listen to while you just do some writing or drawing or even scribbling on your artwork. So if you want, just kind of click through them and see which one speaks to you the most, see which one you enjoy the most, and then you're going to listen to the song while you're using either markers or crayons or paint if you have it to just create something on your artwork. You can watch me do this and I'll kind of talk about what I'm doing while I'm listening. I decided to use markers and crayons for this because I figured most of you won't have paint. I'm listening to the classical song. It's got a lot of loopy tunes, and sometimes it sounds peaceful, but sometimes it gets a little exciting. So I'm just kind of letting it guide my hand, and sometimes I'm filling stuff in, and sometimes I'm scribbling right over top of the actual magazines. Again, just have fun. There's no wrong answer here. For the final part of the project, you're going to create a character on another paper that you can cut out and glue to your project paper. You could do this directly on top of your collage, but sometimes it's really hard to get it to show up very well when your paper is already so, let's say, messy. So I included a bunch of just very simple animal drawings here on this slide, but you can make any animal or character or alien that you want. If you want some help, I would just look up simple giraffe drawing or simple alien drawing and see what you come up with. But again, remember, what's most important about this project is not that your artwork looks just like someone else's, it's that it looks unique and totally different from anything that's been made before. So let's take a look at how I do mine. I was thinking about my grandma on this day, and she absolutely loves the cardinals. So that's what I decided to do, is a cardinal bird. I did the crown separately from the bird so that I could glue it over top of his head, but you can draw the crown right on there if you want. Then I'm going to pick a place on my paper where I don't want to block my favorite words, but I'm going to put it pretty much somewhere near the middle. After I was done gluing my cardinal to my collage, I outlined it with black marker just to make it stand out a little bit more. It was looking just a little bit lost in all those other busy papers. So again, here's what I was able to come up with in my Basquiat inspired art creation. But just keep in mind too that it's not so important that you come up with something that you think is beautiful as long as you're experiencing the art creation process. So you should be having fun, feeling inspired, and just coming up with something that probably nobody else has ever drawn or come up with before. So I hope you have a good time, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.